Once upon a time, in a village, a man built 2 buckets with bamboo. He used them to fetch water from the stream in the mountain. At first, the 2 buckets performed equally well. Every day, they helped the man bringing 2 full buckets of water back for his family. One day, the man's son accidentally kicked one of the buckets. It fell off on the ground and got a tiny crack on it. But the man didn't realize the small crack. Every day, he still used the 2 buckets to fetch water from the mountain, but slowly, he realized one of the buckets got less and less water when he came back home from the mountain. One night, the fully functional bucket laughed at the broken bucket and said to it, "Oh man, now, the master has already noticed that you cannot perform fully anymore. Soon, he would build a new one to replace you, and you will be chopped and thrown into the fire as the firewood." After hearing this, the bucket has a little crack was so worried, it did not want to be chopped and throw into the fire. So the next day, when the man brought them to fetch water, it tried its best to prevent the water to leak from its crack. However, no matter how hard he tried, water still leaked from the crack slowly. When they reached home, only half bucket of water left. The broken bucket was so sad, the thought of being thrown into the fire had tortured him for days. Finally, it cannot stand anymore. So he talked to its master. It said, "Oh master, I know I am broke and underperforming already, but I beg you not to throw me into the fire. I might be useful for other purposes." The master heard the bucket talking. He smiled and said, "Don't worry, I am not going to do anything to you yet. Let's wait a month and see." The bucket didn't get its master. It thought, maybe the master has a method to fix me, so he waited. For the next 30 days, the man fetched water, as usual. Didn't do anything, and the broken bucket still could only bring a half bucket of water back every day. As days passed by, the broken bucket started losing hope. It thought, the master is not going to fix me. I am going to be tossed in a fire soon. 1 month later, on one day morning, the man brought his 2 buckets to fetch water again, but this time, he stopped at the halfway and put down the 2 buckets, asked them to look back. He said, "Look the sides of the trail. Do you notice anything?" The 2 buckets were confused. They shook their heads and looked at the man. The man laughed and said, "Look, there are so many flowers on both sides of the trail. They were not there when we first took the trail to fetch water. Do you know why?" The 2 buckets shook their heads again. The man said, "Because the water leaked from the broken bucket along the way has watered the soil. That's why the flowers started to grow. At first, it only grew at one side of the trail. After I realized this, I switched the side of the broken bucket every time we came back from fetching water, so now both sides of the trail have grown beautiful flowers." That day, the man picked a bunch of flowers for his wife on the way back home. He put them on the table, and they looked so beautiful. Watching the flowers, the broken bucket was so happy and relieved. In our life, we often worry about how people looking at or judging us. We enlarge our little flaws and worry about others' criticism. When we torture ourselves from worrying, our goal drifts further and further. There is no perfect man in the world. Just do what you are good and passionate at, and remember all things in their being is good for something.